Hello everyone, Mr. Fawcett here, and we're back with another Algebra 1 lesson. Today we're going to talk about adding and subtracting polynomials. So in our previous lesson we talked about naming and classifying polynomials. Now we're going to start talking about the operations on polynomials. We're going to skip the do now. I think we know how to simplify, and we'll get some practice with that later. We're actually going to jump down to this page right here. We're going to do one example where we add the polynomials, and one example where we subtract, and then you'll get some practice on your own. So let's start to add them first. Sometimes you'll see parentheses here, sometimes you won't. As long as the sign right here outside of the second set of parentheses is positive, you can just do away with the parentheses, right? They do not matter. They're not going to change any, and as I say that, I write the parentheses again. So I get 4x squared plus 2x minus 3 plus 3x squared plus 6. And the reason that is, right, because this is really just represents plus 1 times this set of parentheses. So we have 1 times 3x squared, 1 times 6. If I multiply by 1, that doesn't change a single thing. Once I remove the parentheses, I'm now just going to combine my like terms. So I'm going to focus on my x squareds first. 4x squared plus 3x squared gives me 7x squared. Focus on my x's next, so I have 2x, and that's it. I only have one x term, so plus 2x. Then I have a negative 3 and a positive 6. Those are my numbers. That's going to give me plus 3 when I add those together. So that is my final polynomial when it's simplified. It's actually a trinomial because it's 3 terms. 7x squared plus 2x plus 3. Now, maybe you rewrote yours, or maybe you wrote yours initially in a different order. So maybe you had 2x plus 3 plus 7x squared. Now, if they said put it in standard form, this would be incorrect, right? Because for standard form, the highest degree must go first. The second highest degree comes second, and the lowest degree comes third. So you just have to order them by degree, highest to lowest. And the one in green, we haven't done that. Oops, not what I meant to do. There we go. So not in standard form, while the orange is in standard form. Let's look at subtracting. Now, we can't just get rid of the parentheses when we're subtracting. And that's because if I'm subtracting, well, I'm subtracting the first and the second term. And what that's like is is multiplying both of these terms by negative 1. Once I do that, then I can remove the parentheses. So I get 4x squared plus 2x minus 3 minus 3x squared minus 6. All right, so if you had just removed the parentheses, you would have added 6 rather than subtract, which is what we need to do. Once I get to this point, though, once I distribute that negative sign, I am good to begin combining my like terms. Again, I'm going to start with the highest degree, just so I can easily write this in standard form. I'm going to look at my x squareds. I have a positive 4x squared and a negative 3x squared. That is going to give me just x squared, or 1x squared. It means the same thing. I am then going to focus on my x terms. I have 2x, and again, I only have one x term, so plus 2x. And then finally, I'm going to focus on my numbers, negative 3, and this time negative 6, so I get negative 9. And this polynomial is in standard form. That's all that adding and subtracting polynomials is. Adding's a little easier because you do not have to distribute that negative sign. Subtraction just has that extra step of distributing the negative sign. But once you do that, then you're just down to combining like terms and making sure it's written in standard form. Let's do 2 examples for practice. Let's do number 3 and we'll do number 4. So 1 subtraction, 1 addition. Additions come in first. Pause the video, see if you can work through both of those, and then join me for a quick review. Okay, so for the addition one, that's a little easier because we can just remove the parentheses right away. So I get 2 minus 7r to the 4th power minus 7r cubed plus 2r cubed plus 4. I'm going to start with my highest degree, which is negative 7r to the power of 4. Now that's the only term that has a power of 4 or a degree of 4. So negative 7r4. I'm then going to move on to my r cubes. I have 2 of those. Negative 7r cubed plus 2r cubed gives me negative 5r cubed. I do not have any r squareds. I don't have any just r terms, so I'm down to my numbers. So I get 4 and 2, which gives me 6. And this is now written in standard form. Moving on to number 4, that was the subtraction one. So I need to distribute that negative, and then I can remove parentheses. So I'm going to get minus k cubed minus 2. Note that, I just want to show you another type of example. Let's say I had negative and then inside I had x minus 3. Well, when I distribute this negative, I'm going to get negative x plus 3, right? Because negative times negative gives me a positive. So it's possible that a term inside, right, could turn positive if it's negative to start, because then you're going to distribute the negative. Negative times negative gives you a positive. Okay, back to the blue. Let's combine our like terms. The highest degree that I have is k cubed. So I have a negative k cubed, and I have a positive 3k cubed. That's going to give me 2k cubed. I have no k squared, so I'm going to move on to my k terms. So plus 2k. And then I have 6 and negative 2. So that's going to give me plus 4. So 2k cubed plus 2k plus 4 would be the answer to this in standard form. Okay, plenty of others to practice, but it's basically the same idea, just different polynomials to work with. What we are going to do is move on to this word problem here and finish with that. So the question says, find the total area covered by all the panels. Well, I guess we better read the description to know what that really means. It says, an engineer is reviewing the layout of a solar farm. The solar farm shown has 4 small panels, 33 medium panels, and 32 large panels. What is the total area of the farm's solar panels? Well, it says the total area of the large solar panels is 32x squared plus 384x. The total area of the small solar panels is 4x squared plus 24x. And the total area of the medium solar panels is represented by 33x squared plus 272x. So they actually give us some extra information here that, if you're not careful, it may confuse you. But it's unnecessary to use. And that's the number of panels for large, medium, and small. Right? We don't need to worry about those because they already give us the total area of all the large ones, of all the small ones, and all the medium ones. So we don't really care how many of each are inside of that area because we're only worried about the total area. So if we want to find the total, well, we're just going to add all of those areas together. Right? So we're going to get 32x squared plus 384x plus, that was for all the large ones, plus 4x squared plus 24x for all the small ones. And then we have the medium ones, so plus 33x squared plus 272x. And we would do the same thing that we did above. We combine all of our like terms. I'm going to start with the squared terms. There are 3 of those. If I add all of those together, I get 69 x squared. And then I add all of my x terms together. So 384x plus 24, that gives us 408. 408 plus 272, that is going to give us 680 x's. So this would represent the total area. I know it may not make sense to you. Well, how can, x's be area? Well, depending on what x was, we could figure out the total area. So this is just an expression for the area, right? I know it's not, an actual number in square meters or square centimeters, etc. Okay, let's finish with 14. It says, write an expression that represents the difference in area between the large solar panels and the small solar panels. Well, difference meaning subtraction. So I'm going to subtract the area of the small from the area of the large. So we'll do the large in brown, 32x squared plus 384x minus the area of the small, which is 4x squared plus 24, plus 24x. First thing we would do, obviously, is distribute this negative sign. So I'd have 32x squared plus 384x minus 4x squared minus 24x. Then I can combine my like terms. 32x squared minus 4x squared, that gives me 28x squared. Combine my x terms, 384x minus 24x, that's going to give me plus 360x. All right, again, plenty of problems for you to practice and become more comfortable adding and subtracting polynomials, but we've covered all the basics. Just make sure you keep track of your signs. You make sure you're only adding like terms together, subtracting like terms together, and you should be good to go. As always, enjoy the rest of your day, and we will look forward to seeing you for our next lesson.